Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're taking a look at the second cipher, the duos, from the 2023-2024 D.LEAGUE season. The first round was such a joy for me to watch, and it's a little different in terms of pacing and just overall vibes and aesthetic from what I'm normally used to seeing within the rounds for D.LEAGUE, and so I've been having a lot of fun with it. I did go ahead and check out the results from the solo round, and I do know, I think the ones that I definitely called, that was pretty clear, at least for me, was Cyber Agent and Valuance. Now, Valuance took the top spot for the solos, and Cyber Agent took second. I think for me, that's awesome. And I do know that, like I had mentioned with Yuya from Septini and Mao from, I believe it was, oh my gosh, Mao. I forgot who Mao is with, but with those two, I did say that they should score very similarly, and they were right by each other. So that felt really good. DYM didn't score as high as I was expecting, but that was just off of projection of how the judges have been receiving DYM throughout the season. But if it won in Katakawa, I was expecting them to not really place in that top half, and that's definitely what was reflected. And I also noticed that I did say that AVEX was going to be in top 5, but part of me was because they would value or appreciate the fundamentals of locking, because it was a little different than what everybody else was bringing. But I think there was probably other back end, critiques or feedback that could probably tailor the positioning for Royal Brats. And then I think finally I did talk about Full Cast. I said I didn't put him in my top 5, but I did know that he did get into top 5. And I think I did say that if he did, it would probably be because of how he rode the music. He modified his movement and tried to tailor it to the track. And because he was the last to go, he was kind of, you get what you get. It's kind of what he had to vibe with, and he held it down very well. So it makes sense why he was in top 5, even though he wasn't in my personal one. And so I'm excited about this. Going now into the duos, I feel that these may be more, I'm assuming more choreographed in nature, but the track is going to be free BPM. So I did make a slight incorrect, made an incorrect BPM call from the first round. What I was stating from the 80 to 120, I was combining round 1 and round 3's ciphers. So I think that round 3 has that 80 to 110, and then round 1 goes up to 120, but the starting BPM is different. So all that, it does matter, like in the grand scheme of things, because certain styles do tailor to certain BPM ranges, and so that's why we saw a lot of breakers, I feel, in that first round. We will continue, of course, because of Valuance and with Jose A-Rocks for sure. We are going to see a lot of breaking, and it's awesome. But in this round, we're going to expect more of the choreographers are going to come out to play. Is what it feels like for me. And it's honestly, I think like we may have some special performers as well. We'll see. I may take a look at the list before we get started, but I think enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and enjoy this round.
まずは Leo and Asha for Kadokawa Dreams. Yeah.
Sega Sammy looks. Nice. set. Yay! Yay! Come on! Goodness. That was a great one. Okay, imoon. Oh, special performer. I think that's so fun though, if you think about it. Whoa! Wow! That was nice. Nice, okay. Wow. Cool. They had a freaking great round last round. That was fun. Here we go. Nice scuba up on that. Nice. goodness. They're getting the tracks that are not vibing with the style. Oh man. Oh no! That's cool. That was cool. Him dropping his hat. It's always such a high risk, high reward thing, but he dropped his hat. They could cost him that. That was cool though. Oh, I love their fits. Fun. Fun.
Let's go.
Okay. This is fun. Come on, bam! Woo! Love that. Oh, love it. Love it. Come on. Special performer, I'm ready. Wow, nice. Cypher Agent legit. Okay. gosh, that was so cool! Oh my god! Oh, sheesh! Oh my god.
On the sugar and cold. Hey, let's do your dance.
Come on.
Let's go.
So I guess over here the stats don't include ties. So winning rate has to be an actual win, not a tie. Because we looked at Takumi's ranking and it said 80%. But they technically hadn't lost one yet. Cyber Agent hasn't. That was cool. It's cool. Woo! That was a nice inning for sure. That was sick. That was cool. Jose A-Rax. Come on, my guys. Woo! Oh. Watch, he's watching. Yep. It's cool. Okay, so that little finish right there that we saw, normally, and so there's a couple indicators where I know this does follow a very similar format in 2v2s. You see in one of the rounds, whenever you see a 2v2, where they have a choreographed bit, and then I think it's going commando. I think is what it's called. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm just going off of like initial what I remember whenever I look at those. And so everyone's sets do take a different format, just kind of depends. And I do have a couple standouts just from, I was just going to say it right here. I'd say Cyber Agent for sure. Valuance gave some Le Twins setup vibes in the sense of what Le Twins is really good at is the interruptions of the sets to show cohesion or that they're watching each other and they're doing things together. That's something that Le Twins is really, really good at. Septiny had a really strong set as well. imoon and Sega Sammy also. Avex, I think it was a great song choice for them. But I really, honestly, part of me is like, you know, it could be Cyber Agent and Valuance again for that. But Sega had a sick set too. But we first got to start at the forefront with Katakawa. Here we go. So here's the thing. This is an indicator where I know that, you know, they're setting up. They're getting ready to begin. They're the first ones up. I don't think they didn't really quite get in tune with the music together. And I think that's very unfortunate. There's a chance Katakawa will score pretty low in this round. So my gut tells me But hey, they're one of the only ones that they got multiple people on their team that got 100% win rate. That's a really hard win rate coming in at round 7. You know, I mean, I know for me, I technically haven't watched their match yet from round 6, but I do have a feeling they're probably going to win based on this win rate here. Boom. Yep, right there. The stability check. I mean, notice that they kind of struggled to get through their stability on that right here. I think it's just one of our dancers right there on stage left. There was just a couple moments where you were either rushing or just some of the tricks were not well executed comfortably. And then my dancer from stage right now, stage left, who just got threaded, also had a little bit of that. So I just feel like, you know, being the first ones up, I like the fact that they went first. It's always it's gutsy. I love that. This right here, boom. Boom. Gosh, that was a really nice jump. I just feel like pointing your feet would be really helpful for that because you are barefoot, so that's going to be something that we're going to look at. Also, I think great presence and presentation. I really think it was one of the least clean routines that we saw from everybody. So unfortunately, I don't think Hatakawa will make top 5, at least in my personal lineup. Now, Sega Sammy, on the other hand, they lock this in. Just this whole set is so freaking nice. They had really nice delays or speed changes. They showcase their groove with house. They showcase a minor jack into a loud or movement within their performance. Usage of floor work. Really great feature. Moment there, the swipe through. I love that with the hop. That was really nice too. They had a great range of difficulty, usage of levels, showcase little moments of freestyle between the two, but also the speed changes on this really match the music pretty well. And that right there, that the boom, 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 and listen to your music. And I love that. You can tell they're in the zone. They're clean. Oh, so are they giving the same amount of range on their cleanliness? Not 100%, but a solid 85. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I would say if Hinata's on my stage right, I think he I don't know if it was a steam, like running out of steam thing. He wasn't going as full as his counterpart Toss was near that tail end. But that was really, really nice because you showcase, like I said, they had a really nice, they had a great pocket. They hit that music so well. Now, were they the most captivating on musicality today in this round? No. I think there was one that really, they got so not lucky, but they nailed it down in the in the track. Like, and you'll know exactly who it is. But they should be that felt like a top 3 performance for me. So I'm just making that little note there. Out of everybody, that was so freaking strong. No, imoon, they would be a top 5 for me. I love the fact that we got first special performer in the round. We had a really nice moment together, great range. Notice that we have really great speed changes in play. That's something that you have to look at too if you're going off the criteria. You look at creativity. How unique is it to the track? I think in this case it would be how well does the choreography match in musicality to the track, even if you're not familiar with it. And that's what we're looking at here. All of that usage of the not tracing, but having the levels used is really helpful. I always find that so captivating. Syncopation is really nice too. It feels like it vibes with the music very well. I love the house integration there with whacking, very polyrhythmic. Love the kick from me. I'm always a fan of pointing your feet would be great, but also you don't have to technically bring it through. God, I love that. Nice little bleed through. So pretty. Yeah, so that set was really nice. I would say if we're comparing between Sega and imoon, I think Sega's set matched the aesthetic of the track more than imoon, but imoon had a very complex, so they had speed changes, levels, things that Sega had. But if they had a different song, there's a chance that they could have potentially caught more beats and caught more of that essence within their movement more. But they did. I'd say that they should garner a top 5 for that performance. That was very clean. Oh, let me say this too. I feel like I need to say this. Remember, I'm taking more of a layman approach to this. not a, I don't judge battles. I normally, my very limited adjudication, resume stems from choreography, heavy choreography. And that's my background extensively. But I do study and I do research and I do watch and glean from 2v2s, CYPHERs, freestyle. So I have enough knowledge to be able to kind of have a pretty decent guess, based, especially if there's criteria involved, like skills, creation, completeness, realism, and impact unique to the CYPHER. I will be able to pick that out for myself. Now, whether or not the judges or my credentials would equate me to be a judge for this round, I wouldn't claim that. But all in all, though, like I really feel though that I just am a lover of dance, but I do want to make it clear, no, I am not a battle judge. I am more of a choreography judge if I am a judge. And a lot of my feedback is going to be tailored towards this type of framework, because you do know it is choreography that we're seeing here. And most of them do bring choreo with some freestyle tailored in, but the track, they are not familiar with the track, so there's a different component than normally choreography placed onto music like we've seen in the other rounds. Now, dip battles. I'm always hopeful for them, because they're the exact opposite of Katakawa. They have not, I don't think they've won a single match this entire season, which is, I'm really hopeful that they score well here so they're able to get some points on the board. But really nice having locking within this. They do a good job on the syncopation of the track, but my note would be, I feel that we do have a very fundamental approach to this, which of course you gotta have, but it doesn't feel like we're varying it up or creating. I would say the component is the unique element that you see in the criteria, which in CYPHER 1, I think my dancer from Dip Battles really brought. I think they were one of the more unique ones in the realm of breaking in terms of their transitions, for sure. But that was a really nice moment. Of course, we have another freestyle moment. Now for me, I also don't know, do judges, do they value the choreography more or the freestyle more? That's something that I don't quite know, but they do a really good job. I would say my male dancer did a pretty good job on holding it down. He was very full. My female dancer also did as well. Were they as cohesive together as some of our other duos that we've seen? Not 100%, but they held it down pretty well. It would not surprise me if they were in, that top 5. But based on others that I've seen, I feel that, I don't know if they brought, I think it's that unique element that potentially could be holding them back from that. Very similar, I would say, maybe Avax's Royal Brats from CYPHER 1. That may be the feedback that they may get with locking. It's tricky. Here we go, Valuants. Now here, they're the ones that I mentioned. They have a great round. They'll probably get top 5. If you look, they have pretty decent stats, honestly. Love that right there with the little dig with the high and the low level represented. Nice freestyle moment. But notice that was that little moment where you had that energy where they're doing their set, and then you have an interruption moment with the person that's not freestyling. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about that the Twins does. That right there, just perfectly integrating themselves in the set where it feels like a freestyle, or they understand how they're setting up their framework and they're able to hop in right when needed. That's really, really difficult. That is high level stuff you're seeing right here. Matches the track super well, and I love the little gallop energy to travel them around. That right here is super cool. Then we go right into the choreo and how the music changed. It really helped. Turning it through. That's our first range discrepancy through, but it's so minimal. Love the pull up. It said, hey, ready? Now, this part right here, this I think is what seals the deal for a top 3 for them, because the type of track this is and what they're doing fundamentally, it works so well, and they got to do their own thing. That little bump, bump, ba da da, it matches the music so well. It feels like freaking beat kills, like they know this song, or if they know the song, they know exactly how to syncopate their choreo. What they did was so freaking difficult. And so for me, once again, I'm going off of the information that there's a chance they do not know these songs, or they were aware that this is a track list, so they're trying to, feel it out, but that DJ could remix it. That's what my gut tells me. I don't think that they're super aware, or maybe they are. You let me know, you guys are more veteran D-Leaguers than I am with the CYPHERs. You let me know, do they know these track lists up front? I'm not saying they know the order or anything like that, but are they aware of what kind of tracks are going to be in play? Because I do know what is given to us in the rules is they're given, it's a free BPM, so you have no idea how fast or how slow it's going to be, and so that's a huge risk on the choreographic front. But I'd say value is, could they take top again? Possibly. I know they took the first cypher. They could take this one just because of how difficult their what they did in their setups between going from the freestyle and then seamlessly going into the choreo. That's probably like a textbook. That if you want to know what Le Twins, one of their best things that they're known for is, I would say it's that kind of element right there, because it is so hard to do, and especially on the stage, I think they're the only ones that did it like that. So for me, I mean, I may give them top spot just from that, or I may be between Valiant, Sega, and Cyber. I think it's going to be those three are your top three. When we get to Cyber Agent, we'll get to Cyber Agent, because they brought difficulty and innovation within the style presented. DYM Messengers, they hold their own so well. I liked Cypher 1. And those are pretty great stats for being this is your first season. Truly. So this is really nice for them to have their own moment. But do you notice though it feels very structured, freestyle moment, and then it goes right here. So they may fall into the same pool that Dip Battles did. If that makes sense. Here's the thing, essence, presentation, authenticity. It's there. But that's not the only component, a part of what they're being looked at based on what is on the adjudication criteria. You know, do I feel like a lot of their movements may have a bit more of a textbook mentality about them? Like the Witch Away, it's very clear that was a Witch Away. The Scoobot was very clear. You know, I love this section right here. We had a really nice essence involved with them. They're very clear, they held it down, so they're very cohesive. Will they make top 5 with that? I don't know if it's strong enough in difficulty or strong enough in uniqueness, because I think that's a big thing with these judges. They care about uniqueness a lot. Now, bless the boys of Full Cast with Crump, man. Those are freaking great stats for being a Crump team in a choreography circuit. My God, that's great. They did a really good job here. The big thing that we're going to talk about is the thing that I've mentioned every time I watch Crump in a choreographic realm is the hats. When you do hatography, like that part was really cool. Love that moment, but they didn't have any beats to cater to it, so it does feel very like choreography onto whatever song we're given. I feel like that more case, that's a really nice moment where they go like they're recognizing the syncopation on that. That's great. We love that. That was great. Taking it off. Now. Yep, so of course, hat goes flying. Does that cost them this? Possibly. I don't think they'll get top 5 because of that hat mistake right there. They also, in comparison to other people that have gone before them and after, when you look, I really feel like it's right. It was really nice to think. They held their own. Everybody held their own. It was awesome. However, when you look at all the components, that kind of mistake, just like Katakawa not being clean together the whole time, that can cost them top 5. And I feel like Katakawa may be in the bottom 3 is really what I feel. For this, I feel that with the hat went flying, that kind of takes away from the energy that you're building, and it didn't quite settle in the music. I mean, let me take that back. They did, but about halfway through. So that first half, they were calibrating their movement. It really felt like to the track. They were doing their content, but there was no sounds there to justify their movement. And that's the downside you can run into sometimes when you do these. You know, remember, I'm going off of my limited experience, so there's probably other cases where that would be pretty forgiving. But you remember too, we can't just be kind or generous to people because they're doing Crump on this track and so we should be nicer. That's not as objective in mindset. And I know that the judges are not approaching it this way either. So I would say compared to match 1 or like CYPHER 1 compared to CYPHER 2, CYPHER 1, he did a good job actually molding well within the track, and they did do that, but then the energy got lost because of the hat getting lost. So I feel like it was a mix of those two components that I had mentioned as to why maybe they're not going to make it into that top 5 as a group for full cast. But I'm glad they did for CYPHER 1 though. Now, Septini has been doing a fantastic job so far, and those are pretty decent stats. That's really nice. I love that. With their house, look at the energy. They're matching each other's energy. That right there, it chilled out. Look at that. And it also, their movement quality has gotten to a place where you see where they hit it nice and chill. It's something similar that we appreciated, that I appreciated from Sega, was that energy built. And then they had a lot of creative moments. Now my thing is, do I feel like this may score similarly to Sega? Potentially. But and I'm not coming from an audience standpoint, from like a judge's standpoint. I feel that with this, the difference is they don't have nearly as many of the risks and the partner work that Sega had. But they have the syncopation. Like, that was really nice. They have the syncopation, they have the levels, but it's the risk-taking as partners that Sega had that they, I don't think, had. Like, this part was fine. Partner work, once again, great cartwheel. But we're not risking, what's the word, hitting each other in the face while doing swipes with hinges. Does that make sense? So theirs may score maybe like, honestly, they may score like 1 point lower than Sega. So they could honestly, I think that is a very, very close top 5 performance for me. If I don't know how many people I put in my top 5, I mean, I put Sega, imoon, Valiant, Septini, and Cyber Agent. Those were my 5. But I thought Avex held it down well. I love the energy of this here. This was really nice to see. I think it was fun. I think there's just a couple things where we kind of faltered on our balance a little bit. And that kind of stuff can cost you, you know. If everybody else nails it, and that's the one thing that separates you guys, then that can be tricky. Now here, I really like the usage of ballroom. It's fun. It's tasteful. I love the integration, a little bit of whacking. Beautiful dip, but right there, he kind of stumbled a little bit on his footing for that. And so I think that's up there with the hat being gone from full cast. Love that. That was really nice to see that energy. But it does feel, if that makes sense, it does feel like that moment was wonderful. This whole part, gorgeous. But a lot of the movement sequences that we're seeing here do feel a little bit, they just feel like choreography or content on the track. It doesn't feel like they're in the music. And that's something that your top 3 really integrated for themselves, is they were in that music. It feels like they were dancing on top of it just a little bit. It's because there was a lot of moments where they could create some synchronicity, or synchronicity was fine. It was more so like with ballroom, a lot of it is the connection between you and your partner. I feel like there wasn't quite as much of that connection here, but once again, I do a very limited ballroom experience, but I do have acquaintances that are in the ballroom field that I could, if that's a big enough issue for me to really want to refine, I can talk to and learn more about. But I know connection between you and your partner is important, and I also know how you sync, ebb and flow within your music also matters. And there's a whole completely different adjudication structure for ballroom in comparison to, in this context in a cypher. It's so different, right? So I know some people may be like, oh, this group got robbed and this group didn't. In ciphers, you have to go off of the schema and the criteria set before you. They're not looking at, they are looking at the skills, so the judges need to have some awareness of what they saw here in a wide range of dance and movement, which is really tricky to find people who are very familiar with multiple ranges outside of a specialty, And I think that actually just ties into, for myself, it's just a little side note, finding adjudicators who can appreciate contemporary as well as breaking within the same Fluency of knowledge is really difficult. And also, I want people to be aware that being an adjudicator is a completely different skill set than being a professional dancer. Being able to empathize, and I think an adjudicator, I learned this from Arnell, and if you don't know Arnell, he's considered the godfather of the West Coast community scene. So like the Kinjas, the Jabberwockies, the Kaba Modern, like he's one of the key figures in the development of the community of the West Coast, which is what you get today. It's due to him and his perseverance within his community. And so, and I reached out to him and I talked with him about, how can I, because I'm in this position of just kind of analyzing, and it's actually perfect that we're talking about this, and I'm analyzing content. A lot of times I'm going to be encountering content where I don't have an empathetic lens to, I don't personally participate as a professional dancer in D.LEAGUE. I don't personally adjudicate a circuit like D.LEAGUE. My experience is in different realms. So how can I be beneficial or helpful as somebody who gives feedback? Or if I'm doing a ranking, how can I word that in that way? And he was the one who disclosed to me, the beauty is to be empathetic, which helped prompt my question. But also it stems from, it's being courteous enough to understand, but also be very clear about what you know and what you don't know. And so for me, that's something that I really try to strive to do, and sometimes I misplace it. Sometimes I should say in the beginning, by the way, I'm looking at this from a more of a layman perspective than somebody who actively adjudicates in this circuit, because we all know I don't. So, but this may be somebody's first video with me. So that's why I wanted to say that here, that being a judge or an adjudicator is a very different skill set. What you develop, what you research, and how you process information, and how you can rank from beginner, intermediate to advanced in movement quality, those are all different than physically doing a style or specializing in a style. So I want you to keep that in mind as well. So my hope is that the judges understood how to adjudicate ballroom like they can with whacking, like they can with breaking, like they can with popping. Is that difficult? Yes. That's fun. I love the tension of the holds. That was really nice. They're very full with each other. It's nice for him to have a feature. That was fun. Little Axel moment. So it feels like they know the song. But I think it's a remix though. Yeah, in general, I think they did a fantastic job in regards to staying together. Very complicated and complex in their execution. Maybe a potential note or something that I think could be something that I don't think this would be a top 5, because there was no, besides just a couple speed changes and presence and holds, I feel that with that one in particular, I felt like we didn't have as much heartbeat or as much we didn't have as much time to digest what they were doing like we were seeing from others that I would equate to that same degree of difficulty, but they allowed us time to breathe, but they still captivated us. And I think that's a component that is helpful, especially on an audience standpoint, but also from a judging standpoint. You want to have those types of breathable moments to help us appreciate what you're doing. And I appreciate what they're doing. I just feel like I could have appreciated it more, because if we kind of use more levels, more moments, more partner work together, potentially. It's just a potential thing here. So it was really fun though. Very much enjoyed that. Yeah, this part right here, this is really cool. So right here, boom. Nice speed change here. Boom. And the stability thing. Now the one thing would be, they're kind of doing their own thing. The stability is really impressive. And then right here, that's when we pop off. Ready? And... yeah, boom. Pulls him even lower and then moves him around. Yeah. I would say the range is just slightly off for there, that part, the controlling, but that whole section was really sick. Switching it through, Very much of a fundamental approach for this section, but they held it down so well. Nice speed change. So this is a typical kind of format you would see. I noticed that from Madoka and Kite. They did stuff like that, where you have one do a speed change slow-mo and the other one have their moment, and then vice versa. And they finish one reverb and one just kind of vibes out. So that was really strong. Top 5, I think so. From difficulty standpoint and from a captivation and like a beat kill standpoint. I don't really use the term beat kill as often. I feel like there should be other components besides, oh, they beat kill so they should score well. I feel like there's other components that we could factor in, but I really feel that Cyber Agent should be taking a top 5 spot. But that was freaking sick because I'm looking at how well did it match the music. Cyber Agents matched that freaking music to a T. It was great, and it progressed really, really well. It made me feel like they knew what was coming, which there's a chance. Once again, I don't know how they work with this. Now, they killed it near the tail end of their set. I think it was not quite the strongest start, I feel, that we could have had. This is really fun. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, here we go. Yeah, I think this beginning felt more like choreo. Honestly, it gave very much like SMF 2v2 a little bit here. That was cool. Yep, nice freestyle moment, pulling him up. Love that. Yeah, a little bit off on that accent between the two of them. But that was nice to have that moment. So they are taking more risks like Sega Sammy did. Choreo is really enjoyable. This part right here. I think it was this part. Yeah, syncopation on it. Melting through. Yep, and then one of them has more fullness of the torso, the other one not so much. That to me, do I think it's a top 5? In comparison to what everybody else brought, that could be like a 6 to 8. I feel like it could vibe over in that realm. I don't quite know if that can overtake any of the ones that really killed in their tracks. But that would mesh well in their track more than imoon's did. But I feel like there was a couple movements that weren't as clear. Because here's the thing. I had a front row shot, and it wasn't as clear to see some of those syncopation moments, which means good chance the judges could not really see a lot of those moments either. And that could be, because remember, judges are humans, they can only see so far. So that would be my note to as to why maybe that didn't go into top 5. So that 8 Rock. They did well in general. I mean, they've shocked me the most out of all the groups. Yeah. Do I feel like we're listening to our music? I feel like I would give the same sentiments. Like match 1, they're listening to the music a lot more in comparison to CYPHER 1 with their representative. Really nice threads, nice partner work through that. That was cool. But if you notice though, it does feel like we're doing a choreography setup and we're not really listening to the music at all. But that was a fun moment. And they were also the first instance where you could tell that one of our guys, my guy in black, you look at his eyes, that right there. They're waiting for the music. That was a really cool moment. He hit the music great. But you can tell they were waiting on each other. And that's something that you did not notice from, I think it was Valuance. And that's what makes the difference between these two. That was really cool. Very creative. So in terms of creativity, that was cool. I think in creativity, they had some really, really nice moments creatively. My note, however, is they weren't really listening to the music as much, just like I think it cost in CYPHER 1. It may cost in here in CYPHER 2. Okay, so that was the end of it. So I don't know if they'll get top 5 with that performance, but it doesn't discredit how freaking sick some of their movements and their partner work was. Okay, if I were to do a top 3, my personal top 3, I would say, in no particular order, I would say Valuance Infinities, and it disclosed why. Cyber Agent, and I would say Sega. Because of how their movements tailor to their music. They were the ones I think that stuck out the most to me in vibing with the music. Septini, I would say, is really, really close in that compared to Sega. They did not, I just think their partner work or their risk taking wasn't as high of a risk in comparison to what Sega did, but it was really similar though, in a good way. And then to round out my top 5, I would probably give it to imoon, because of the level choices, the integration of their movement within the music. It was really nice to see. Now there's some really close calls, I would say. Do I feel with Dip battles? I really liked what Dip did. I like what Messengers did too. But I think, you know, what caused Avex their round could be the same reason why, like what I think. Remember, I don't know what the judges have said yet. What may have caused Avex a placement in top 5, maybe similar in nature to what I would extend to Dip battles and to Messengers. I think the ones who had performed, unfortunately, not at their best, I would say it was Katakawa for sure. And I'm trying to think. I would say with Koze, I really feel like if they listen to their music a lot more than they do, like we can tell that they are, but then also I think they're caring more about making sure that they stay together than the music, and I completely understand that. And then also it was unfortunate with full cast with the hat, and then also it took them a little bit to get set up in their set. I really liked Royal Brat's set, especially near the tail end. It was really nice. It felt very Royal Brat's. Does that make sense in a good way? But it did tailor more so like a 2v2, like what I would see from Street Man Fighter. So I don't know if that's going to tailor on the creativity or uniqueness side. I don't quite know. But what I'm about to do is I'm about to go look at the results before I see you guys in my outro. Okay, so I went to go look, and I'm actually very surprised at this lineup here. Koze got first and tied with Lifeful. That is very surprising to me. Here's the thing. Everybody held their own really well. I don't think, I mean, when you think, oh my gosh, I don't know. I guess completeness, impact, unique to CYPHER. I mean, as you can tell, I'm kind of a loss for words. Like, I just have to listen to what the judges have to say, because this is very surprising to me. I mean, Cyber Agent and Valiant being top 5 doesn't shock me. It does shock me that they're not closer to the top, though. Like, I know Cyber and Valiant's tied for 3rd because Koze and Lifeful tied for 1st. And it's a 1-point difference between these 4 teams, so I understand that. And then DYM makes it in the top 5, but I was totally expecting their first match to get in the top 5, and they didn't even make it in top 5. They got to, they were in top 10, but... And what's crazy is imoon, I was like, they could pull out a top 5 spot because of how they did. And they got, I think, like, second to last, I think. Like, yeah, it was like Monolese got 11th, 12th was imoon, and then Katakawa was last. Guys, okay. I mean, I must have been looking at this very wrong, but I mean, it is what it is. Here's the thing: at the end of the day, I'm happy for Koze and Lifeful getting points on the board, because I know that's gonna help their teams. Because I really, you know, there's a lot of teams that I really want to do well in the CYPHER that have not been doing well so far throughout these rounds, and so it's nice to see Koze, you know, do a fantastic job. For me, I think Koze has brought some pretty incredible sets. And I've been shocked at some of the results that they've been getting, and depending on who they're against. And, you know, but I mean, I feel like so far, the ones that are feeling very consistent right now, I would say Cyber and Valiant are pretty consistent in that top 5 realm right now, for sure. But yeah, my goodness, that really shocked me. I think my brain broke for a second, because I was like, I felt so wrong about it. But also, I know Septini and Sega were very close. I think there was like one group in between them. There was like a 3-point difference between them, so I feel like those were really close together. So at least the groupings wise, I feel like I was kind of okay. But Lifeful, no, not Lifeful, imoon, I was on the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of my thoughts compared to what the judges thought. So, but to each their own. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry that I think I was very, very wrong. I will be looking at the judges' commentary if they do those for these ciphers. I don't know that. But I've been thoroughly enjoying my time taking a look at the ciphers because they're so different than the rounds. And hopefully I'll get better when I look at the next duo or trio here. And please let me know your commentary. What are your thoughts? Was there something important that I completely didn't even look at with some of the ones that did make it into the top 5? I know I didn't really talk about Lifeful as much, and I really liked their first cipher. I did have notes about, you know, kind of the repeatability of the pocket, you know, but all that to say, once again, I'm more of a layman here, so take a lot of what I say sometimes with a grain of salt, because, you know, it's just going off of my personal experience, and it's still very limited in comparison to some of my other areas of expertise. So once again, I'm Jess. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye!